Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hit that like button as you come in. Hit that like button as you come in. All right, all right. Good evening, good evening. How are you? How are you, Mr. King?
What up? What up? Good to be here. Seems like it's been a minute, but I'm glad
It
to be
has
here.
been a minute. It has been a
Yeah.
minute. It has been a minute. I appreciate everyone who is here so far. I'm sure others are going to join in. We're going to have a great evening tonight. We're going to be hanging with the fellas. We're going to be getting their perspectives and their insight. Tonight, we're continuing our wedding vow series, and tonight is for better, for worse. So, Mr. He said, how are you, sir?
Hey, Presh, all is well. What up, King?
What up?
How
What
y'all
up?
doing?
All
How I
right.
sound? I sound okay?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes,
Perfect,
yes, yes.
perfect. Thanks for having me. How
Of
y'all doing? How
course,
was y'all week
anytime.
so far?
Pretty good so
Eh,
far. It's been a good Monday, I must say.
Same here. Same
It
here.
went by
Yeah, man. I
fast.
can't complain at all.
Went by fast. It went by fast. But good evening, everyone who is in the chat. Let's see who we got here. God happened to me. Good evening, love. Good to see you. Dating to marriage support. I miss you, girl. Where you been, girl? We need to have James on the panel. If he could hop on a panel, let me know. Let me know. We have the guys tonight talking about vows. We're gonna be talking about Will Smith and Jada for better or for worse, because they're in the thick of it. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. Dating to marriage support. We got the actual King Smith in the chat. Grooming and reviews. I see you. I see you. Dead Pill reacts. Yo, I see you. I see you. Quincy, I see you in the chat. Good evening, sir. Good evening, good people. Um, let's see who else we have. Tarika, I see you. I see you. Uh-oh, it's your anniversary.
Yep. Yep. We me
Anniversary.
and God happened to me celebrated our anniversary on our live stream prior to
Yeah, you
here,
said it right.
and
Live screen.
and she surprised me with this hat that I'm wearing now. So
Nice. Well, happy
yeah,
anniversary.
Congratulations, fam. Happy anniversary.
Yes,
appreciate it.
yes, yes, yes. All righty. And who else we got in the chat? I see the world class. Thank you so much for being here. All right, y'all. So we're gonna get into it. First, y'all know this used to we always used to kick this show off with mixed messages, is where we read text messages and we see where things go wrong. Um, I might include that in my Patreon. I might include that in my Patreon actually, because I think a lot of times we read into text messages too much. Maybe we say the wrong thing. Maybe we don't know what to say. And I think that'll be something good to add to that final tier on my Patreon, guys. Whenever you have the opportunity, definitely go check out the Patreon. We keep it real. I'm helping others keep it real through a process of hot, honest, open, and transparent. If you have been here at my channel, you know that is what I talk about. That is what I push. You can't be real with others until you are real with yourself. And so that's what we're going to be doing over on Patreon. We're going to be working. Okay. We're going to be working. Good evening, Mr. Hank. How are you this evening?
Good evening, all. How y'all doing today?
Doing good. Muy
Pink.
bueno.
Brother Hank, what up, bro?
It's all good. It's all good.
All righty. So the text messages that we're going to get into, I believe King is sharing his screen. Now, I got my phone because I'm blind. So I'm going to be reading from my phone, but I'm going to put these up here. Okay. We're going to start with these messages. Don't know if they're mixed messages or just messages, or if someone's dodging a bullet. We'll see what's going on here. But I think I started off, right, King?
Yep.
All righty. So the date was fun. Thanks.
Oh, you're welcome. You're suggesting next time. You there?
There won't be a next, love. I don't want to waste time, but you ain't my type. I enjoyed the date and conversation. I just feel we're not compatible, if that makes sense.
I can respect a woman that's honest. What is your type, though, if you don't mind me asking?
I like a man that takes charge. You kept asking me what I wanted last night. You brought me to a restaurant you've been at before, so I expected you to suggest what I should get. It's like you let me lead the entire date, like you didn't know how to take control. Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't actually. Look, this was our first date. If I controlled the entire date, you'd say I'm too controlling, right? I wanted you to be yourself. How come you didn't tell me after I took you home that I wasn't your type? You kissed me and said you couldn't wait for the next date. So this is too confusing.
I don't remember saying that. I must have been drunk. What I'm saying to you now is honest. You would go far in a relationship if you took control and didn't mind picking things without relying on a woman to tell you. Are you always like that? It's a major turnoff.
I wasn't trying to turn you on. I wanted to get to know you. I wanted you to feel appreciated. You saying that you was drunk is an insult to me. You had one damn glass of wine. You would go far in life if you got to know someone. You're judging me off of one date? Have a good day.
Now you are being mad sensitive because I was honest with you. Glad all I did was kiss you. There's no need to keep my number. You can delete it and go your way. Love, take care. Remember what I said, kissy face.
I don't need your advice. I took a chance on you even though you have a kid. I took a chance on you even though I had to pick you up because your car's in the shop. You come with the baggage and the problems, and I still took you on a field trip. You would go far in a relationship if you stayed quiet. I see now why you're in the position you're in, judgmental Keita. Look in that mirror and remember what I said.
Now you want to take charge and have balls. Where was that last night?
I didn't know I was dealing with a masculine female. I'm done with this discussion.
Now you got me turned on.
What the? You crazy.
Crazy about you, boo.
Wow. Blocked.
All right, y'all. So after hearing that text exchange between the lady and the man, what do you guys think? Because a lot of times, like I said, you can be texting someone back and forth and it takes a crazy turn. Like at the end, it takes a turn. Like she turns out to be crazy. Um, do you think that he should have blocked her right up front? How do you guys, how do you guys see that text messaging going back and forth? What do you get from it? Quincy said this like all
Uh,
my children in the hood.
Yeah, that was a bit much. I mean, it's like you just said, a lot of back and forth. A lot of things can be misconstrued, misinterpreted, and it's nothing like, body language and getting that face to face, especially when it's an intimate conversation.
Mhm.
That particular conversation, it's it's really a minefield, and that's what we as men try to convey, that it's really delicate dating, getting to know somebody. You really, as a man, have to have a certain mesh of accommodating, but not too accommodating, nice, but not too nice, and insightful, but not too much. You want to talk, but not too much. You got to find this perfect middle everywhere, in order to make a woman feel welcomed and, you know, able to let her guard down, but not overbeared. And just it's so much to try to navigate through the minefield. So for him to be so definitive in wanting to accommodate her, get to know her, wanting to understand the character of a person. It just seems like, on the other side of the spectrum, the intentions weren't the same. It was more of a tangible, transactional approach to it. I need you to be a specific way in order to get a specific reaction. And like you see the tables turn, and then, she was kind of Pepe Le Pewish. By the end of the episode, she was chasing him. So, like he said, it's really good to just block somebody like that, just indecisive. Just it's not a good look for somebody you want to build a life with, build a future with. But um, overall, just very confusing for us as men to see where and how to navigate through that minefield.
I agree. I agree. Hank?
Oh boy, Rob, oh boy, Payne threw me off, man. I seen the whole show with the glasses and shit. As soon as you pop, God, what we doing here? No, but the
Stay
crazy,
on my glasses,
Welcome, our pain. Welcome.
man.
What up, RP?
I got to mess with you a little bit. Um, yeah, that was kind of crazy, man. And the fact that she got a little excited, I guess, turned on towards the end when he talked real sassy to her. That's crazy. Now, I'm surprised the dude to say, "Hey, is that right? Is that how you like it?" And not say, "Hey, what about going on another date and I'll show you more of this type of behavior or attitude or control or whatever you want to call it." Yeah, I'm surprised he took the route that a real man should have said, "Hey, yeah, I can't rock with you."
You say you're surprised that he took the route that a real man should have? You
Yes,
think more would have gone the other way?
yeah, especially knowing he's seen all them possible red flags, like uh, cars broke down in the shop. I don't know if it was her dry begging, trying
Mm,
to get him to pay for the car repairs.
mhm.
Uh, maybe that I don't know how well the kid was, well behaved or anything like that. That could possibly been a red flag for some men. Um, and the scene, some men okay with women biting back at them. Some guys are turned
Mm.
on by that shit. So, I don't know, but hey, it is what it is. But he seemed like he took the best route approach, and probably the one that's gonna benefit him in the long run. and that is, yeah, lose my number. I'm done with you. I'm gonna take one last dig and take a shot at you, but on the way out the door. You know what I'm saying? And I'm done.
Right.
King, if that was you for real, would you entertain that?
Hey man, me 2 years ago, yeah, man, I was all right with crazy. I was all right with crazy, man. Hey, let me just raise my hand and say that me 2 years ago was something different, but now,
Exactly.
man, I value my peace. I had to learn the hard way.
I know
Two,
that's
I
right.
mean, 2 years. I mean, that ain't that far out now. Only 2 años.
Hey,
No me too.
uh,
24
uh,
No, just
months.
kidding.
That's all it
uh,
is, King.
a lot has a lot has changed.
I know that's right.
I mean, I'm looking at the mental score that I see people are taking now, because once the gloves were off, they were off. You know, you weren't very masculine. Well, you had some kids. I took you on a field trip, yada yada.
Mhm.
So, it kind of it wasn't like that way back when, so to say, when we were dating. People weren't taking this mental score, and like I said, it was just seems so transactional. Everybody wants to get either equal or more value for what they're given, and just in a biased market, it's just not like that. So I think we got to take the transactional approach and look at how we view relationships, and maybe examine that, and then go from there. But it's only going to lead to problems when you look at wanting to get something for nothing, or something greater than what you're giving up.
Yeah, and two, here's what I like. I like that he asked for feedback and
Mm.
she gave feedback on things that is working out for her, right? So the feedback that she gave to him, that's not something that he can take and apply that to everybody that he meets in the future, because
Right.
people value and respect different things. But I did like that he did ask her for feedback, and I could respect what she said to him. She wants somebody that more takes charge and leads, and he didn't do that. And while I understand his reasons for not doing it, I don't think necessarily what she said was disrespectful when she was saying that, hey, I wanted somebody that would take charge from day one, right? He didn't do that. It is what it is.
What I didn't like though is she said you would go far in a relationship if you took control and didn't mind picking things without relying on a woman to tell you. Um, a lot of times men, there's a difference between, gathering little details that you know about a woman and then really wanting a woman to be direct so you can gather some type of details, um, with her or, for her. So it's like she's trying to tell him how to be a man when he took her out. He spent his money. He, showed her. She said she had fun. The first thing she said was the date was fun. So he just wasn't her type per se. But a lot of times, sometimes I'll say those type of men that aren't necessarily your type up front are the men that's like trying to say, hold on, wait, maybe you need to, check this out, or maybe you need to realize that you are a little bit more masculine. I mean, obviously they're not compatible with each other, but like Mr. He said was saying that they're taking digs at each other at this point, and it's kind of hard to, you know, see who you truly are, because it's like, okay, were you suppressing some things because you wanted to be nice towards me? Because if she would have never said, "Hey, look, I don't think there's going to be another date," did he think that she was masculine to begin with and he just overlooked it? Like, he was naming all those things. And it's like you were saying, King, it's good that she did say something, because a lot of times people may continue and go on in relationships and they don't really say the things that need to be said. So it's kind of like a catch 22 in this space with these messages, because it's like it's a good thing that they said these things, but it's the way that it's going back and forth is almost like, and this could be the uncomfortableness too, right? Like you're not going to always have comfortable conversations with the opposite sex, someone that you're dating, someone that you're married to. We're talking about for better, for worse tonight. Everything's not going to always be comfortable, but what I say is everything should always be respectful. It should always be respectful. It's not going to always be comfortable, but I should always be respecting you and you should always be respecting me. So, that was one thing I didn't like. She said she was drunk. It's like, okay, are you confusing me with somebody else? Because
Yeah, that was a
you said you
whole
only
lack
had
of
one.
accountability. She was
Yeah,
trying to find an excuse in why she did what she did,
yeah,
and she knew what she was
Yeah.
doing in the moment.
Yeah. If I
yeah.
was to give one suggestion, I would say, fellas, be a little more stoic in those situations because I did hear her say, you've been to the restaurant before, so she figured he would know his way around the spot a little more, I guess. But that's information that he probably gave her. I've been here before, and yeah, I know this menu or however we talk on a date. It's been so long ago, I'm probably far removed, but I think if we remain a little more stoic and be a little more receptive to being accommodating like he was trying to be. But again, you got to find that perfect middle, fellas. I know it's not easy. And that's that je ne sais quoi that I'm always talking about because I know that you have to find that perfect middle within all of those areas to make that woman feel, welcomed and wanting to be in the company and do things that you want her to do and have an amicable relationship. But we as gentlemen have to have a certain sophistication level and find that perfect middle to make her feel comfortable enough to open up, literally.
Yeah, and I think with the whole situation, it was just interesting that she, pretty much just used him for the food date, and that's all it really was. She just, I guess, she wanted to say all that to, like I said, to keep it cordial and keep it in a good space on the way home, and not try to rock the boat and really make it obvious that she was using him for a meal ticket. You know what I'm saying? The whole thing. But once she got there, she felt comfortable when she got in her house and safe at home. She, I guess he's the one to initiate the text, right? And so she could just feel like she could just let her down, just tell her how she really feels. Yeah, yeah, I'm not really impressed with you. And so this, yeah, it's a bad look. It really is a bad look right now. And with what's going on with the girl with the cheesesteak, that's not a good. It's like for those guys who already on the fence, yeah, you done pushed them all the way over now. Now they went all the way red pill. And they like screw it.
I don't understand what's wrong with Cheesecake Factory though. Like, I
Me,
honestly don't understand what's wrong with the Cheesecake Factory.
Nobody, nobody,
that was a good skit to I
yeah,
guess
no, nobody
overemphasize the
know.
point.
had to be a
You know,
skit. Had
But, I don't know, I can't remember their names. They're newscasters, but it was 4 of them on, I should have saved it. It was 4 of them on the news, and the guy is telling a story, and he's like, "Yeah," and he wanted to take them to Cheesecake Factory, and the other reporter snickered. It was a black guy, and he, like, laughed, and he's like, "It seems like you have something to say. What's up?" He was like, "Well, I just don't understand why they was at Cheesecake Factory." So it's not even just a woman thing. You hear men saying it too, and it's like, "What's wrong
no,
with Cheesecake Factory?"
listen,
What
I tell you what, Cheesecake Factory is at the upper end of a franchise. I mean, I don't know you, don't know me. I just think that Cheesecake Factory is loving this, by the way. They are loving this. There's no doubt about it. It's a
right.
serious advertisement, man. But I mean, I think it was just they said Cheesecake Factory to overemphasize the skit, which was a good one because I think the skit itself was good because there's a lot of women like that. And I tell guys, listen, I'm one of those guys who always pays for the first date. I just do. I don't want to hear none of this newfangled crap. However, I budget. I used to budget for my dates. So if I liked a lady, it was a certain amount of money. If I just wanted to try to smash, it was a different kind of money. Only because every kind of woman, I'm gonna be quick. Every woman knows she wants to smash you by the first time she sees you. And you know what I'm saying? And all you got to do, either you're going to talk your way out of it by saying too much, or you're going to have fun that night. So I budget. I used to, I mean, I learned this shit when I was a teenager, by the way. So I budget. So if I lost all the money on a foodie date, I don't care because that's what I had allocated for that chick. But she would never get me again. She would never do it to me again. But as soon as a woman said, I don't want to go to this restaurant because of this, that, and other, I would have just drove her right home. Just like I wouldn't even have done all that talking he did. I would have just drove her ass home. That's it.
All right, so I'm seeing people. Tarika says she's never been. Girl, drop your cash app. Maybe some people will send you a whole
Cheesecake
gift
Factory's
card to the
good. Ain't
cheesecake.
good anyway.
Hey, Quincy said he'd take her.
Quincy said he'd take her, but he's scared now. Come on. Look, okay. Someone said they weren't impressed with the menu. Now, Cheesecake Factory has a huge menu. Have you eaten everything on the menu? They have a huge
The
menu.
food is overpriced. Everything's overpriced there. It's just overpriced.
And Crystal Light says, and I believe I heard this too, that I heard the guy book reservations at a fine dining restaurant, but they lost the reservation because she was taking too long to get ready, all the while with purple lipstick and a $25 dress from Shein. I can't, but yes, I saw that. He had actually booked a reservation at a nice fine dining restaurant, and because she took so long, he booked another reservation. He had a backup plan to the plan, and it's like you still messed it up. So you lucky he didn't say, let's go through the drive-through. Okay. All right.
He did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, he did what he was actually a gentleman. He was very calm when he was speaking with her. He was very respectful. He told her what he likes and what he expects out of a woman. And if she can't do that, I'm gonna just take you home.
And we need more black men to do that. We need
Yeah.
more black men to do that. I'm taking your ass home. You know.
Yeah, just take it home. Take it home.
Yeah, I wouldn't have took her ass home. Her ass would have got in the goddamn parking lot, Payne.
I know, I hear you, but I wouldn't have done. I would have took her home.
Ain't no door-to-door service over here.
I've got a question for the guys. Way back when. I mean, this was a long time ago. I went out on a date with somebody who, when I went to her house, I picked her up. I got out the car, you know, I went to the door, she came out, all that jazz. We ended up going out to eat. And this was before smartphones were the way that they are now, right? So you really didn't have a need to, because it wasn't giving you all the information that it can give you now. But this young lady stayed in her phone the entire time, right? So I didn't say anything. I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to chalk this up to being an L, yada, yada. When we got back to her house, I didn't even pull up in the driveway. I just pulled up to the curb, and she looked at me and she said, "Oh, so you just gonna do a whole drop off?" And I never heard of that term before. And that's when I said, "Hey, look, I didn't have a good time. I didn't say anything, but you was in your phone. You know what I'm saying? This entire time I said it was probably bad on me for not saying something, but yeah, no, I'm not feeling this. Like, I'm good." And she was like, "Wow." And she got out the door all angry. Like, was I wrong in that situation?
No.
Okay. I was talking to somebody else about that, and they were like, "Oh man, you still could have done the honorable thing." And I'm like, I don't think there was anything dishonorable about it.
What was the honorable thing? Walking her to the door?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. I believe in.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Precious.
I was just gonna say I believe in cutting things off quickly. Like when you know that it is not, you know, you didn't have a good time. You didn't. Why drag this out? I mean, you weren't rude. You know, I don't think that you were rude, but sometimes women, and I'm speaking for the women, sometimes women, if you would have walked her to her door and you told her prior to walking her to her door that you really didn't have a good time, she would have probably took you walking her to her door as, maybe I can go out with him again, or maybe there's another chance. So I can understand when Hank says leave her in the parking lot, because it's like you need to know without any shadow of a doubt that I'm not okay with this. And sometimes women need to be shown that instead of told that, because they'll come up with their own story in their head, and they'll, well, what did you what you mean by that is, or what you said what, and it's like, no, what I said is what I meant. So sometimes you do have to show some women that it is what it is. And you have to use, proper discernment to know what women to do that to.
Well, the thing about it, man. I mean, I don't know what time period it was though, King, but in 2023, there's no way I would have did that. You did way better than me to even take it to the curb.
It was
23, I'm not,
2003, so it was
yeah,
like pre-smartphone days.
yeah. I'm not picking a woman up in 2023. You're gonna meet me at the restaurant because if it goes left, I'm out. I'm out. I mean, you know, I don't like that. I probably would have said something. Baby girl, we can't put the phones down. Can we pay attention to each other? That's what we came here to do. If we came here to play on the phone, we could have went to the damn coffee shop and you could have played on your phone all night. So could I. You know what I'm saying? But if you're gonna be disrespectful, because that's to me that is
So
disrespectful. That
rude. Yeah.
you're gonna play on your phone and we supposed to be interacting and get to know each other, but you get more to know about what's the latest and greatest happening on IG than you are with me. So yeah, let's put our phones away and let's have a conversation. But if we can't, then I understand, and I just can't continue this date. But I'll see you later. You have a good night. Go. I'll see you later.
All right, all right. Thank you for those who just joined. Y'all have some funny comments. I will cancel a date if your voice too rough. I used to take to meet women on a date at the mall to eat. Let me down easy, like the Isley brothers.
And
Good evening, historian. Good.
what's funny to me, Precious, is this is one of the it depends answers. Again, people apply
Mm,
it everywhere where it don't apply, but some women are a coffee date. I want to talk to you. I don't want to be anywhere loud with a lot of things going on. Like some women are an amusement park. That's where the it depends come in. But again, that sophistication, everybody just wants the latest and the greatest and the most extravagant to do what? Because if that's the first date, what's our anniversary look like? What the wedding gotta look
mm,
like? What do the honeymoon gotta look like? If we started at roof, Chris, goodness gracious. And then again, that's the part that they really don't even give consideration to, that we as men want to get that adoration out of you, get that admiration out of you. And if we start here, this is why y'all think relationships are just rocket ships, but it's not. It's a roller coaster,
mm.
and they not willing or ready to ride a roller coaster.
Hey, can I add something to what you just said? He said, and this is funny. I was in a business meeting when I was, when I was working. There was a lot of executive women around the table, and there was a young captain who was just recently married. They were coming up on his first anniversary, and these were older ladies, right? And he started talking about what he had planned for his wife. I'm talking about it sounded like like a $25,000 thing. And I was still kind of young. I might have been around 35. I said, no, Captain, man, you gotta hold your horses here, man. It's a long marriage. You over here talking about something that's gonna cost you almost 20 grand. I said, she ain't gonna start to accept less as you get to these other milestones. I
Mm,
said, and then none of the ladies said anything, but I kind of peeped the way they were looking. They all saying, they didn't say nothing to her, but I said, "Listen, you hold your horses." So it's not just for dates. You gotta understand the nature of ladies. I mean, you can't give and then later on don't meet those expectations.
right,
And so
right.
you gotta be kind of judicious as you move through the whole thing, man. That's what I learned. Anyway,
Gotta be creative. Everybody's creative, you know? Gotta be creative.
Yes,
You
indeed.
can't blow it all on one first, first date
Yes.
or first anniversary or none of that, man.
And honestly, a
It's
lot of things can be more so thoughtful than the traditional, dinner and a movie or dinner and a drink afterwards or something. It could be a lot of things can be, more creative, thoughtful, um, and just different. Women like when a man can give her a different experience than everybody else. So that doesn't have to be something that costs a lot of money. It's just like, oh, he's different. Like no one has ever done this for me or taken me here or went through this experience with me. So I think, and that comes with getting to know somebody before you even think about dropping a dime on them. You're gathering information. That's what dating is. You're collecting data. So, how can you be out of the ordinary without breaking your pocket and continuing to, have good memories? Because a woman might not you might not be a woman's type that she naturally goes after, but because you think differently, that's what attracts her to you. That's what keeps her, desiring you. It's like, oh, he's different. He's not gonna do the same thing everybody else do. All right. So tonight we talking about for better for worse. And Sister Jake's got something to say. And I had to play it tonight because she's TD Jake's wife. She's very humble. You rarely hear her speak. You rarely hear her say anything if you're familiar with who they are. But she felt strongly about this. So I had to play.
Then by the disassembling of families and marriages, because we take 30 minutes to say the most important words that you'll ever say in a commitment, for better, for worse, in sickness and in health, forsaking all others, richer for poor. Then this new generation came along and we want to make our own vows. You know why? Because it's easy to break. Easy to say, when I saw you walking across the water in the middle of the night, shut up. Better or worse? Sickness, health, richer, poor, forsaking all others, I'ma cling to him.
I had to play that because, like I said, if you're familiar with who she is, she doesn't really talk much. She really doesn't, raise her voice or, she's literally his meek and mild, lady. She will speak. It's not that she doesn't speak, but she's felt very strongly about that. And like she said, nowadays people want to make up their own vows. And the first time I saw you, you were so beautiful and blah, 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 blah. But getting down to the nitty gritty, for better, for worse, for richer, for poor, in sickness and in health, till death do us part, are people really understanding the vows that they're getting themselves into? Are they surrounding themselves with people who have already said those vows and who are, steadfast on keeping those vows? So I wanted to play that. But of course, tonight we're going to talk about Will and Jada. I know everybody else talking about it. I haven't talked about it yet. We skipped the beat last week. We weren't here, okay? And then the week before that, we did and then we did the first vows. But I want to talk about for Will and Jada because for better for worse, with everything that is going on with them, everything that has gone on with them, one thing that you can say about Will and Jada, whether you like it or not, is that they still together. Whether it's in the dynamic that we would want them to be in, whether it's in a untraditional dynamic that they're in, they have committed to each other to say, "Hey, look," and I'm gonna play a couple clips too, of the infamous, we ride together, we die together, bad marriage for life, right? That is like their tagline. Who says that? Who says that other than Will and Jada? Bad marriage for life, right? So they have committed to being with one another no matter what happens. Now, we don't know what it say on the dotted lines and some fine some fine writing, and any type of contracts or whatever they have going on, if that is, if they do have that going on, but they have committed to being with each other for better or for worse. But before we actually dive into that, for better for worse for them, I do want to start. I want to start with this clip on how it actually all started with them.
I'm married because
And excuse this clip because the sound and their mouth movements are off. I don't know why, but you get the point.
we only got married because Gammy was crying.
Well, Gammy, this is what happened.
Now, some things are, I'm going to stop it a few times, okay? Some things are hidden in plain sight. And I think that, once you have dealt with a lot of people, once you get in touch with your spiritual side, once you're able to be confident in yourself, you're able to see the world a little bit differently, right? So he says, we only got married because Gammy was crying. And then they laughed about that. They laughed about that. But that's something that's hidden in plain sight because we know that Jada was from Baltimore, Will from Philly, right? Will was married prior. He wasn't even divorced. He asked Jada to be his girlfriend 5 days after he was issued divorce papers from his first wife. He asked her if she was single. She said, yes, I'm single. Or she says, no, I'm not seeing anybody. He's like, well, you're seeing me now. Right. So it wasn't like a one of those fairy tale stories where it's just like, oh, she was beautiful the first time I saw her. And then he was in his marital entanglement before they got together and got into a Will and Jada entanglement. And then she had another one. But I just wanted to stop it there because Will is a master of making things um lighthearted with comedy. And so I don't think that that should be taken lightly because how many times have families been the influence? And we talked about this. How many times has family been the influence on why you move forward with a significant other, why you don't move forward with a significant other, and things of that nature? So I wanted to stop there. Definitely think about that.
Well, Gammy, this is what happened. It was almost as if Gammy was like, you have to get married. So let's talk about the wedding. I was like, I never wanted to be married.
I don't remember that. I remember feeling very strongly and wanting you guys to be married. I do.
All right, so I'm gonna stop it here because Jada obviously felt as though her mother truly wanted her to be married to Will Smith, right? And in the fashion that some of the older generation do, they have this thing called amnesia. I don't remember that. I don't know if you ever try to talk to your parents about childhood trauma or things that have bothered you in the past, and they're like, I don't remember that. Because if somebody say they don't remember something, you can't really beat them over the head about something that they don't
That's why I teach
remember,
in court so
right?
much.
It's something easy to just say, "Oh, I don't remember that." But what I remember is this. So Jada, I think she was in her 20s when they had gotten together, as a 20-something-year-old woman who was ready to live on a farm, didn't want to have anything to do with Hollywood. Her mom had issues with drugs. She had her past. So her mom's probably thinking in her head, I don't and Jada was hanging with the worst of them. That's what she revealed, right? She was hanging with the worst of them. So in her mom's head, she's probably like, I don't want my daughter to go through what I went through. This is Will Smith. Like, this is Will Smith.
Mhm.
Will Smith called you? You sure Will Smith had you on the phone? So I think that's important to point out as well, because again, this may be for better or worse, but I think other factors had to do with the for better or for worse, and that's why we're where we're at. So we're going to keep going.
Remember that. But
Yes.
I don't remember your rejection of the idea of marriage. I remember the rejection of the idea of a wedding.
I didn't want a
But
wedding
not a
either.
She didn't want it,
I was
yeah.
like, I don't want to get married. And now Gammy done gone to Will crying about, I don't want to have a wedding. And now I'm being forced to have a wedding.
All right. So she didn't want to get married. She didn't want to have her
Yeah.
wedding.
Yeah.
And then she says, now Gammy going to Will, meaning Gammy has been steering the ship the whole time. I'm sorry, Mr. He you want to say something?
No, you fine, Press. I need some standards at some point. I'm gonna say that, you know, I can't say all, but in my opinion, a lot of women don't have standards. And until somebody can prove me wrong, this is just another splash in the bucket. I could point out many other splashes, may have a whole show dedicated to it, but
Mhm.
you don't want to be married. You with me now. You just bought a whole house in Baltimore you never even lived in, or Maryland, or wherever you bought it. But the standards for me is really lacking. And until somebody proves me wrong, I'm gonna hang my hat on that. Where's her standards at?
Mhm. Right. 'Cause, I don't know how you go on through with something. I mean, it must have been a sweet deal. I mean, I know it was Will Smith, but it's like, how do you go through? How do you say out of your mouth? And there has been, Will Smith and Jada, they are in the limelight and they talk about their relationship publicly, but there are real people out here who will say, I knew at the reception we shouldn't have been married. I knew the day after we got married we shouldn't have been married. And in my head, I'm like, I'm listening like, but you 15 years in now. Like, what happened? Where was the delay? Why didn't anyone speak up? I don't understand.
When really, I just wanted it to be the two of us on a mountain because I was like, this is serious business.
Yeah, wedding was horrible.
It was a horrible wedding.
It was a mess. Jada was sick. She was very unpleasant. Wouldn't cope up, but she was sick. She didn't.
I'm gonna rewind that. Y'all, again, a lot of things are hidden in plain sight. Let me see if y'all hear it, okay? Hold on, let me go back.
It was a horrible wedding.
It was a mess. Jada was sick. She was very unpleasant. Wouldn't cope up, but she was sick. She didn't cooperate with
were 6 months.
anything.
All right. So they said it was a horrible wedding. And Gammy says Jada was very unpleasant. That's probably the nicest way she probably could say that her daughter was being a biatch, right? So she was very unpleasant. Everybody started to laugh again, and she goes, "Well, because she was sick." And it's like, no, because she didn't want to get married, Gammy.
Bam,
Like, what?
bang,
She
bang.
didn't want to get
It
married.
was.
I would be unpleasant too if I didn't want to get married, and you telling me to walk down the aisle with this man. And
Yeah.
now she's pregnant. It's not even like, I just don't wanna get married. Like, I just don't wanna be attached to you. Now it's like, your seed is inside of me. So, Gammy is like, "Oh, yeah, no, you need to marry this man. You not about to have no," because I think that was her first child, right? She didn't have no other children before that. Did she? Right? He did in his prior marriage, but I don't think she had any children before that. So, these are
No.
her first children. So, this is her first kid. So, it's like, now you're married. So, now we have to get married? It's like her mother, Gammy, yes, Gammy, it's like and of all the names, right?
Gammy.
So
His laugh didn't even seem. His laugh just don't seem authentic either. They seem forced, and every time he laughed, I said, "This not genuine."
he definitely has a manufactured laugh. I know someone who has manufactured laughs. They're actually similar to Will Smith's, actually. They're manufactured. They are laughs where sometimes it's passive aggressive, sometimes it's, I'm going to laugh at this because it's not really funny, but I'm gonna just give it a laugh. It's a manufactured laugh. You can tell when someone's being genuine, when someone's actually laughing from their belly, when someone's actually, you can, again, when you spend enough time with people, you understand these things. and Will Smith has a very manufactured laugh.
Yeah, cause he's an actor. He's a liar.
Mhm.
Look at Quincy's comment. No, no. Now grandma works, and that's what I see. I just see everybody trying to be something that they're not. Even if you're trying to be
Right.
a wife and you're not. Even if you're trying to be, a family man and you're not. Even if you're trying to be a gammy and you're not. Everybody's just trying to fit in, this round peg into this square hole, and the signs are written on the wall. Jack Mosley, it's raining, it's she's sick, she's cantankerous, and it's because this shouldn't even be happening. And with all of the writing on the wall, this is why we are where we are, because it's like they manifested this whole bad marriage. And like the lady said in the very first clip, Pastor Jake's wife, I believe,
Mhm.
this is why they did what they did, because this is her ideal scenario. You getting married to box office man, Mr. November or whatever he is. You got a baby in your belly, you have financial security, you probably on an island getting married somewhere. Like, you're doing a lot better than a lot of people, but that still ain't good enough. Still ain't good enough. But the conversation I was having with the missus is, what if Will Smith died today or tomorrow? Make it tomorrow even better. Let's save him a day. Tomorrow. This is what you did with his legacy, with his name. You dragged him through the dirt. When somebody go back and click on
I was
any
thinking the
of this
same thing.
stuff, this is what they see.
How will
And
he be
again, this
remembered?
is the insensitivity that women don't see in regards to us as men. We have to fight this cold world that's against us every step of the way. And even when we make something of ourselves, look. Look at what legacy can become. Look at his children. Look at his wife. Look at his name. All besmirched in the blink of an eye. One of the most loved individuals, clean cut, never cursed on his record. And look, and to bring it on a smaller scale, and then I land my plane. Imagine if that was us. This is why we behave the way we behave in this space. Because if we weren't here tomorrow and somebody clicked on play to see, I don't want them to see no nonsense, no foolery. Shout out to Take Heed to the Message. No foolery associated with me.
Mhm.
So, my heart goes out to everybody in the situation, because it's really messed up for the children and so on and so forth. But I think we got to think about ourselves a little bit. We got to love ourselves a little bit. The people we attach ourselves to, the people we go out on dates with, the people we leave at a restaurant. We don't owe anybody an explanation. We don't owe no reasoning, no closure. Like Hink said, protect yourself at all times, man. It's one of the most valuable things I ever heard outside of a boxing ring. And it's true. Protect yourself at all times. You are worthy. Love yourself, because you will not let anybody disrespect you if you love yourself. So, thank you for having me, Precious. This is a dope conversation, and my heart goes out to Will Smith, man.
Yeah. Thanks for being here.
Well, I'm
There's
just trying
more.
to figure out. I mean, the kids don't love the daddy at all. I mean, goddamn, you would think they would speak up like, "Mom, you're doing too much. How about give Dad a break? Stall him out, Debo. Stall him out."
Well,
I mean,
she
they,
got Willow
Call
writing
him
letters
out.
to Tupac. So,
man, look,
she
man,
already has her
shit.
emotionally manipulated.
Let my daughter do some. You had to call CPS on my black ass. I'm like, man, shit. What are we doing? Damn, man. She got the kids so brainwashed they don't even want to defend the daddy. They just let him out to hang. Like, damn. It's like now. I bet you his first son. I bet he had a lot to say about her. I bet
Trey,
he had a
yeah.
lot to say about her. You don't hardly see him around, and that might be a reason because Jay's probably not a big fan of him because he's probably outspoken.
He's probably the real one.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and she don't like it, so I just rather have not him around. I just want my natural born kids around who I
Mhm.
have all mind control over, and I whatever I want to think in it, they'll do exactly as I say. Even to the point, like you said, she got her daughter writing a deceased man a letter talking about I wish he was here to make my mama happy. What the man? This shit's crazy.
Word, I forgot about that. Word.
Mhm.
I think Willow was. I don't know. I think she was a lot younger when that came out. But I think there's some
Still.
dissension. No, I think there is some
I don't think
dissensions
it
at this
matters.
point.
Why are you writing another man who is not your daddy a letter
No, I'm not.
about happy?
I'm not arguing that point. I'm just saying. I don't think that was a recent letter. I think the kids have grown up. They might just be a little bit more silent instead of coming to. Let me tell you, with this social media stuff, it'd be nice to hear him speak out. But then again, I don't see how that's going to really help Will, right? Because now his kids got to speak out for him, and because he's too cowardly to do it for himself. And I just think he's suffering from Stockholm syndrome. And one day, I hope he just wakes up and just say, "Listen, you know what? Take $200 million and just leave me alone." Right? Because, no, here's everything I have. You can make it back. He'll make some other money. And he'll get so much credibility back just by standing up and just say, "This just get out of my life," and let me heal. Uh, because I heard Jaden said some stuff about his mother, about her giving him drugs when they were young. They kind of quashed that, and remember the
Wait,
kids wanted
run that back. Say that again
he
because
came,
I know
he
he and
the
he.
son came the son came out and said that she was giving them psychedelic drugs when they were young.
Well, according to Jada, she tried to say that the son introduced it to her when
Yeah,
she was going through like her midlife crisis or something like that. And so I guess eventually maybe they may have been doing it together. I don't know.
yeah,
But yeah,
but
she made it seem like he introduced it to her rather than the other way around. I mean, either way.
uh,
I think that
listen,
there's something going on Will Smith's side in that Will's trying to protect something and that it could be a lot worse. But Will's got something that either he's done or he has done or something that he's wanted because there's a lot of early film in which while Jada was saying that she didn't want to get married in the first place, she also had an opportunity and several opportunities, I think, to like walk away. So why stay? I mean, hey, look, you're married to Will Smith. She had her own career prior to him, but her career and Will's career, you can't put on the same plate. So being married
Mm-mm.
to Will still gets her access to certain things, yada yada. Okay, but I think it's Will that is actually still being protected, even though he's being embarrassed. There's something that nobody's saying that Will's doing that he has going on that's will probably,
come on, man, say what you think he got going on. Go ahead, say what you think he got going on.
I mean, it's no
What?
secret that w- it's
He's a
been
crossover.
rumored that both of them
He's a
uh
crossover. Come on, King, say it. Is he
that
crossed over?
that he's experienced all types of people in his life.
Bang, bang.
I just want you to say it, man. Just say it, man.
Woo!
I
You
So
mean,
know,
so
King.
fast forward. I
Tell me,
mean,
King,
does
don't
everybody
beat around the
care?
damn bush, King. Go on, say it with your chest.
I like the effect. That was on point.
oh, somebody talked about a soundboard. I'm like, I have one. I just don't use it as much as I probably need to. Go ahead, RP.
No, I mean, listen. All I'm just trying to say is, even if it's true, I don't know how much traction that would even have right now. I mean, he's been so emasculated. I guess that would put a nail in the coffin. I don't know. But I don't think that's what she had. I mean, there's a whole scenario with him being gay, and she married him as part of the cover up, and she didn't think it would take that long for him to come out of the closet. And every year that she got to keep that secret, she's getting madder and madder. I think your videos today show exactly why she's resentful of him. She didn't want to marry him in the first
He
place.
would have married him in the first place.
Right. And so, and the kind of woman that, and I don't know what kind of woman, the kind of woman that she's showing the rest of the world she is, that I think that's the thing that makes her angry. She made a decision that she's sticking by for whatever reason, and it's killing her. So, and he's the object of her ire, and she's letting him have it every day she can until he's man enough to say, "Okay, listen, I'm releasing you from this prison. get the hell out. And he's going to have to drop some dimes because I don't think they have a prenup there in California. So she's going to rake him up and down the coals. And I think he'll have enough cachet back to go ahead and make some of that money back. Just leave.
Okay.
His peace of mind is
So,
better than
She don't.
question.
She don't
Pregunta.
need to. They're going to stay married till one of them's no longer living on this earth.
Right. So what I was gonna ask
sad.
you guys is, would you divorce Jada, and at what year? If so, would you have divorced her? Would you divorce her? Because we're talking about for better or for worse. So it seems as though they are in this for better or for worse. So would you have divorced Jada? She out here.
Gone.
She out here
Listen.
telling the
Yeah, I'm out.
business.
I'm
Yeah,
out.
Lisa.
All right.
Yeah,
So
I'm
Mr.
gone. I
Mika,
mean, it
you
ain't.
out.
It's not. It's really not too much of a long answer for me. I'm gone. You know,
Mm.
like I said, I think we deserve a certain amount of respect as people, and especially as men. And you know, my last name, my legacy, especially the echelon of man that he is, I think he just deserves a little bit better of representation in
Right.
regards to his name. So it, I would have definitely been out at the first signs when she brought all of the information about sleeping with one of our children's friends and so on and so forth. I think that's the first public information. I think I would have left then.
And Mr. He said something earlier too that I'd also like to point out. You could go back to as long as they've known each other, from movies that they've been in together, from press releases, whatever. You can't find a time that Will embarrassed Jada on any level. But there are countless photos, videos, interviews, Red Table Talk stuff, their own personal social media, where that lady has embarrassed Will. I couldn't find one. Couldn't find one where
No, I I
couldn't find
I
one.
think no, but I think that is her career. Like, Will has his career making movies. She has her career about talking about Will. I'm not saying that it's right because it's not right, but that has become Jada's career. And I think Will is like, you got that. Like, if that's what you want to do, like, you know what I mean? Because he knows who he is. He knows what he does in a relationship. He knows, they say that they have no secrets. They talk very candidly to each other. And I think that, because most men, any other man would have been like, "You're crazy. I'm out of here. I am out. I'm divorcing you. Take whatever you got to take on Will Smith, like whatever." But I think this is just only what I think. He has come to terms that this is part of her career. And I think that Will has a little bit of a narcissistic trait about him where he likes things to be his way. He wants to get that praise. He wants to get that admiration because he's Will Smith. He's a prince of he's a fresh prince of Bel-Air. And, you know, it's a little bit about Will because he's not innocent. Jada's doing whatever she's doing. But Will does take accountability. Like you said, he'll never respect her. I don't think I've ever heard him disrespect her, but he will take accountability for some of the things that he has done to cause her certain type of anguish. We're actually going to get into it in the next clip.
Because episode 1 was not enough. So we're going to continue the conversation.
What was your hardest time in our marriage?
I think the term.
There goes that humor again. When she said shit, that means the whole thing. Okay? It doesn't mean let me think of a moment. It means when wasn't it the hardest time in my marriage? I didn't want to marry you.
Turning point in our relationship for me happened when I turned 40.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I had a midlife crisis.
Yeah, your 40th birthday was my low point. The day after her 37th birthday, I hired a team to orchestrate her 40th birthday. I hired a documentary team. I traced Mommy's family roots. her 40th birthday was going to be my thing.
It was gonna be a splash.
It was going to be a splash. Mary J.
Definitely was a
Blige.
splash.
Mary J. Blige performed. I debuted the film, all of that. It was going to be the thing that lifted her out of this midlife crisis. And it was going to be my deepest, most beautiful proclamation of love. And we did it. And I had found tapes of Jada's grandmother. And her grandmother had recorded these voice messages over the last 8 months of her life.
Wow.
And it was tapes that Jada had never heard.
Wow.
So Jada had to sit there and listen. I understand thoroughly now. At the time I didn't. But she's listening to these never.
Look at her body language. She's always had this distant body language when it came to Will. Even a video I posted today on my Instagram. When your body naturally goes away from someone, and I know that Will feels it because you leaning in to get a kiss and her body is naturally pulling away from you. You know that there is no spiritual bond there whatsoever. Whatsoever. And she's always had a very cold just
Demeanor.
demeanor about herself when it came to, yes, thank you, when it came to Will.
Before heard tapes of one of the dearest people she's ever known in her life in front of all of these people. So she's holding it together, she's getting it together. Then I have Mary J. Blige performing. The whole time I'm like,
Yeah.
the little boy that wants mommy to say everything was wonderful,
Yeah.
right? And she's having a really difficult emotional time. And then when we got back to the room, it was me, you, and mommy. And we were talking about the next day, and there were things planned for the next day. And she said, I'm not sure I want to do anything the next day. You can just cancel it. And I said, well, let's keep it. And then tomorrow you can decide. She was like, I'm telling you now, I don't want to do anything tomorrow. And I said, well, it's okay. We'll just wait and see.
I just wanted to have intimate
Just
time.
intimate time. And I was like, well, I'll cancel tomorrow. She was like, it's my birthday.
Yeah.
Right? And she's told me that the party was the most ridiculous display of my ego.
Ooh.
I think the tape thing. I think the tape thing was absolutely wrong. I think that part. I didn't know that part until you just showed me that. I know she didn't like the party, but dropping those tapes on her in front of everybody like that, those intimate things, that was an absolute stupid thing to do. That
He
really,
was trying to live out the movie Hitch for real.
yeah. So,
Take her to Ellis Island.
so from that standpoint, I got to give her a check in the box for that one. I mean, that was just
Right. So Will, of course, Will is not innocent in all of this, but again, he won't disrespect her, but he will take accountability for him doing things that were against not necessarily her will, but maybe her comfort zone. And he just wanted to continue to push because Will needed to feel good about something. Will needed to, he needed his wife, which he referred to as mother. I'm looking for my mother's approval. I'm looking for, someone to say, good job. You did a great job. I love this. And so that was his demeanor, I believe, when he snagged Jada Pinkett Smith off the market. It was like, oh, she's the worst of me. Oh no, I need somebody else on my arm. I need somebody that's going to look good. I need somebody that's going to, be a little shorter than me, make me look good. And when we're in these interviews, we're the same, perfect height. She smiles. She's beautiful. Do I really need her to love me? I just need somebody on my arm because I'm Will Smith. Right. So I think that's the attitude that Will Smith had. And he would honestly, I think Will Smith would love anyone. Honestly, I don't even think it was something that special about Jada. I think that when certain men have love to give because they may have lacked it in certain places, I think that they will give that love. Now it may needs to be tweaked and may needs to be a healthy type of giving of the love. You don't want to be manipulative because that's what that can turn into. But I think if Jada was never on the set of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, I think he could have given that love to anyone because he's had multiple partners. We just don't know about him publicly like that. Not like Jada and her entanglement, but he's been loving women. He got his side things here and there, you know. So I'm pretty sure he's charming. I'm pretty sure he's lovable. But Jada just wasn't the one. She just wasn't having it.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I saw a man that was trying to love his wife. I'm not sure if I completely agree that it was insensitive or not smart for him to pull out those tapes. He was, trying to unlock a level as far as,
Mm,
the video game world. But for me, he wasn't her choice.
yeah.
And again, that's what all of us men, we come to terms with that. We understand we're not your first choice. Your first choice was probably 5 years old, somewhere back in kindergarten. If that would have worked, you probably be with him today still, because he had that pretty hair. He was Rico Suave, whatever it was. But we know we not your first choice, but we can be your last choice. And I think that's where Will is at. That he was trying to love up on his wife. She was in love with another nigga. That nigga dead. She was in
Say
love with
it.
that nigga. Like, y'all was friends and y'all never rocked on that level, but that's where her heart was. Whether she want to say it or not, whether she want to put it in a book or not, but there's always that one. And all we can do is try to live up to, surpass, or whatever the case may be. But in Will's case, I do think it's other things going on. Somebody said, assumptions, but it's more like, accusation, suspicion, because
Accusation.
the whole Fresh Prince thing. I'm from New York, so that was supposed to be MC Shan, actually. And if you go and check the archives, MC Shan will let you know that Quincy Jones, they wanted him for that job, but he wasn't in line with a certain lifestyle that they wanted. He wasn't in line with what they wanted, to go with in order to concretely land that role. And Will Smith was. So, look a little bit into that. And I just think that this is just, typical of the type of relationship they wanted to pick to American society now, that, your name could be dragged through the dirt, that your wife can be, it depends, and, make up a new word for her entanglement. But no, that's
Mhm.
cheating. That's cheating, fellas. We all been cheated on, but the difference is we all wasn't cheated on and then interviewed by the person who cheated on us. Like, that's the thing for me when I say my heart goes out to Will Smith. Like, this, he gets cheated on by his wife. She calls it a whole nother name other than cheated on, and then sits him down and have him talking about how he messed up and you was at your low point and all of this. You the one that was in all of this foolery,
I
not
have that
me.
clip too. I have that
So,
clip too.
it's this is what they want for American relationships to look like. And this is why most men want to be women now, because women get to depict how it goes in relationships, how it goes in marriage, what we do with the kids, what the menu look like, what the house smell like. So it's way easier and more opportunistic to be a woman. So, some people just playing the numbers. Some people are just Stockholm syndrome. Like my brother R. Payne said, I think I coined the term because I think everybody suffers from it. Men want to be women. Everybody's adopting each other's talking points. Stockholm syndrome. And until we really step back and look at it, like, we the ones that say y'all don't listen. We the ones that said y'all are combative. How the hell men get to this point now? Because 2023, if you go to any channel you want, men are delusional. Men don't know how to love. Again, all of the stuff that got us sitting here talking when all you could have said was, you know what, you got a point. Maybe I could change my. I do see some sisters acting like that. Maybe I should pull somebody to the side. So, the wheel will keep spinning around and around, and the people that see will see. But this is, again, don't let this dictate your relationships. Don't let celebrities dictate your relationship. Hank and his lady, me and my lady, our Payne and his lady, King and his lady got a better relationship than all of them celebrities. Let me bring it back down, because we could be them. They could never be us.
All right. So what did you guys everyone else think of that second clip of them pretty much talking about how Will wanted to throw her this 40th birthday. He actually had it planned since her 37th birthday. Had those intimate pictures of what was it, her grandmother or grandfather? That no one has she had never seen them before. No one had ever seen them before. And him really pushing for her to have this big party or splash, whatever that's supposed to mean. Um, and really not being emotionally, up for it. And Will like, no, come on, let's do it. Let's do it.
Ugh, man, I think that you can classify Will as doing the most in that aspect. This dude just did something that not a lot of people would have the resources for and accomplished it. And she flat out said, "You didn't do that for me. You did that for you."
Mm.
I'm trying to think. Will has to be a different level of guy to probably have. He most likely had gotten hints throughout, the entire time of planning this thing out, and still went on ahead and did it. That speaks a lot more to me about Will than it does Jada, in my opinion. Eh, and I don't know. He should just find the biggest L and just hold it because it wasn't a good look.
Mm.
And what Crystal Light said in the chat
Yeah.
was similar to what I was talking about earlier. You don't ever hear her really doing anything for him. Now, whether he chooses not to highlight it, she would also have the opportunity to market that essentially. And I can't think of a time where she hasn't, or where the kids have highlighted anything special that she's done for him.
Yeah, it's like, sheesh. Like, I mean, even when his book came out, I don't even remember her. I mean, at least GD Mai was, praising Jeezy for his book, saying how good of a father he is. It's like, when do you really ever hear Jada, speaking highly of Will, or, praising him for the work that he's put in over the years, and, still continuing to be a good father. And it's almost like she is paying him back for making her marry him. It's like, I'm gonna pay you back no matter what. We gonna live in this marriage, and you gonna live in hell. If I gotta be here, this is how it's gonna be. And it's like, who wants to live like that, right? Who wants to live like you hate me, and we gotta walk around they ain't walking around the house because they've been separated for the last 7 years. But still, it's sad that they have to get to this point. And like Mr. He said, and I was thinking about it the other day too. It's like, how are we going to be remembered here? Is it all going to be, all of this what Jada reveals about Will, and Will still being the husband that's being respectful towards his wife and not disrespecting her in the media, and having these red table talks with her? This is the one that is cringy. This is the one that everybody watched and was like, "Will, get out now. You need help. We'll help you." This is the one.
About 4.5, 4 years ago, started a friendship with August. And we actually
Now,
became
hold on. Let's go back, because look at Miss Ma'am looking like
with
an older
August.
auntie. Look at the age difference. Okay, she looking like she with her nephew. Okay.
And we actually became really, really good friends. And from
Look at
Yeah.
this face.
Why you pause it there?
Hey,
Look at this.
yo.
Why you pause it there? Hey, you wrong. You wrong for pausing it there.
Damn.
Because how can you sit across the table with Will Smith looking like it's almost like you can feel like it's like Jada don't have a soul, okay? Because how can you sit there across from this man and tell him about your little stupid, dumb entanglement like he is a guest on your show?
there,
It's a long stare too. I must have paused it at the very beginning because he stared at her.
He looking at her
Okay?
like, "Don't you ever disrespect me," looking like
He
Caillou.
looked like he want to slap her. He looked like he want to slap her like he slapped Chris Rock. Okay?
And from
Woo!
there, you
He
know,
chilling.
you and I were going through a very difficult time.
We decided that we were going to separate for a period of time, and you go figure out how to make yourself happy, and I'll figure out how to make myself happy.
Well, at that particular point in time, it was indefinite.
Yeah.
So he said, we're going to figure out, we're going to separate for a period of time. A period of time. She says indefinitely. So where did the lines of communication get lost? Was it supposed to be for 6 months, 8 months, 10 months? And in your mind, you're thinking indefinitely. And he's
This is what
just
Sister
like,
Jakes was talking about. This is what
right.
Sister Jakes was talking about. When you make up your own rules, you can bend them and twist them and turn them however you want.
Yeah, you're right.
And I'll figure out how to make myself happy.
Well, at that particular point in time, it was indefinite.
Yeah, I really felt like we could be over.
No, we were over.
And then what?
See, it's like, I really felt like we could be over. No, we were over. When I guess whenever they had this conversation, that was her out. That was her out. And now we about to figure out what Jada did.
What did you do, Jada?
I got into a different kind of entanglement with August.
An entanglement?
Yes. The one thing I'll say.
Him and that laughter, I pray for Will, because when you have to laugh things like that off, I know he's on a camera and his reputation is everything. But honestly, I would be okay seeing Will really react to this with real emotion. I
He did.
honestly,
He did at the Oscars.
well,
That's what that suppressing does, right,
Mhm.
Presh? This is when you don't react the way you want. I got a friend that's epileptic, right?
Mhm.
And one of my best friends. And he has episodes,
Mhm.
has seizures or whatever. But what he disclosed to me is that he only has episodes when his brain is in battle with itself, because epilepsy is when two sides of your brain don't kind of communicate. But when he wants to say yes and he says no, or vice versa, just something as simple as that. So, when we suppress things, when we want to react one way, but we don't, we want to remain stoic, like I was referring to at that date. Again, this is when the it depends come in. Sometimes we got to let it out.
Yeah.
And, a woman is quick to call us emotional and try to use homophobic attacks when, being homosexual is okay, quote unquote. It's all smoke and mirrors. You got to be able to see through that. And that's why I say love yourself, man. Love yourself first, because you're going to see through all of those attacks, all of the sign language, all of the chat. You're going to see through all of it, because you're the most important. When you don't be honest to yourself, with yourself, when you look in that mirror, you're not going to like what you see when you look back. And you're the only person that's there. So you can front in these boxes all you want, but when you look in that mirror, it's only you there. So I think we should be honest to ourselves. And Will Smith is a personification of, again, smiling to stop from crying, and not attesting to his true feelings and testaments. And whether he snaps one day, whether he's not here one day, or whatever the case may be, but we'll see the end result.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. Anybody else want to speak on it before we finish this clip about Jada and the entanglement?
There's enough said on that. I mean,
she just made up that word because she didn't want to call herself a cheater. I mean, that is what it is. That's just her with the lack of accountability. You know what I'm saying? Just she didn't want no accountability at all. So I'm just gonna make up this word entanglement to make me feel a little bit better, so it doesn't sound as bad. That shit's crazy, man.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna finish this one out. Oh wait.
About you and I is that there's never been secrets.
Right.
We ride together.
Hold on, because that right looked like wrong. He's there right.
The one thing I'll say about you and I is that there's never been secrets.
Right.
We ride together.
We
Together. Bad marriage for life.
So again, like I started the broadcast off, no one advocates bad marriage for life. Who does that? I've never. I mean, I don't know everyone in the world. I don't know every married couple in the world. Um, but they have seemed to coin that term, bad marriage for life. And so when we think of again, for better or worse, do you think that Will and Jada are a good example of for better or worse? Or do you think that they are an example of WTF? RP, I saw you come off. Hey, Sean.
Yeah, I just think.
Good evening, everybody.
Oh,
I just want to say
special.
what's up. Nah, Payne, go ahead. Good seeing y'all. Missed y'all. Go ahead, Payne. I'll go after you.
Yeah, I mean, real quick. I mean, there's no better there. It's just all worse. I think they're trolling everybody.
Mm.
You know, I'm just looking at it. I mean, they got to be trolling. Especially if they stay together. He's staying with her under all of these circumstances. You know, they just had a picture of him recently after all this has come out. He's on some kind of boat or something. You know, just looking
Yeah,
like, hey, it's just another day. And
no
for
care in
him,
the
it's
world.
probably just another day. So I just think they're trolling us. Their marriage is kind of is a sham. The kids are grown. Uh, you know, hopefully they'll recover from whatever trauma they have from being having these two as parents now that they're grown on their own. But you know, I just listen. I'm tired of talking about how emasculated he is, and for his willingly accepting it is another matter. I mean, because it just doesn't make sense, other than that they're both trolling us, right? So, I mean, and I'm using the term trolling kind of lightly, or maybe a little bit off kilter,
Mhm.
because they both know what they're doing. They both
Yeah,
know what it
professionals.
looks like,
Mhm.
you know, and Will knows what it looks like. And how could you take so much ridicule and not really be affected by it? And you just keep moving. So it's just weird to me. The whole damn thing is weird to me. That's all.
Yeah,
So it's
because
for worse. I don't see no better in it at all.
gotcha. Okay.
I agree with that last statement. I don't think that it's I understand the word trolling, but I think it's very calculated and it's very untraditional. And some might even say it's very unfortunate, but it's calculated. I think it's designed, and some people. I don't think many people will ever understand it, but many people won't ever understand entertainers. And because it's their job, or actors specifically, because it's their job to make something believable that doesn't exist or is not or is unbelievable.
Mhm.
And they both have worked on doing that throughout a portion of their lives.
Mhm.
And so to your point, um, Payne, perhaps it can be trolling. Let me retract that because it might be entertaining to them to see how far they can take it or how believable they can make it before somebody gets on to them, so to speak, which many actors, that's kind of what they do for a profession. But maybe they're getting a little bit, or he specifically is getting a little bit more of a kick out of it than most.
Mm. Welcome, Ikane. How are you?
Good, good, good. How you guys doing?
Doing good,
What up,
doing
Inc.
good. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, yeah. You guys falling for the fraudsters, huh?
Huh?
You
What was
guys
that?
falling for the you guys
Falling
falling for the fraud you guys falling for the fraudsters, huh?
falling for
We're
the fraud.
falling for the what? The 4 star?
Fraudsters, yeah. Scammers.
Yeah,
Well,
well, no, we're
okay.
not falling for them, because, we understand that it is definitely, they're professionals. Um,
Mhm.
But my thing is, they're married, so there's a level of reality that we see and that we're privy to, and then there's a level of reality that we don't see. But because their business is in the street per se, it's easy to speak on what's going on with them and not believe that a lot of it is not real, you know. Um, Jada Pinkett's body language alone says that, she doesn't want to, she don't look like she want to be with this man. There's you can fake it oh but so long. And I think that her body language is very real. I think that, the way that she just puts herself out there, reveal, I mean, this week alone or last week, the end of last week is Jada Pinkett reveals this, Jada Pinkett reveals that. And I know that she's promoting a book, but everything points back, most all things point back to Will. It's like, girl, this your book about how you worthy. What?
Yeah, but the thing in life is this, right? The most dangerous human being on earth is somebody that chases cloud or somebody that seeks attention, and they will do anything to get that attention.
Mhm.
And if you don't give them the attention, they will destroy themselves and destroy you in the process. So if Will Smith wants to live long in his marriage, or maybe no marriage, but in that household, right? Or in that house, he has to play along. Because when you deal with a woman that is protected by the law of the country, protected by so many things that has to do with government, right? You have to play along. Case in point, if he said he's not going to play along anymore, she's going to file for divorce. In Florida, she's going to get alimony, which is going to last for like 75% of whatever years they spent, right? Then she's going to also get some money, about 25% of his income or his wealth. Then she's going to write way worse book and make up lies and stories to destroy him and make money off of it. And another book and another book. Every year, she's going to write a book, just a snip of a book that will destroy that man. And she's going to do it as long as she lives. Because you know why? I tell people all the time, when you want to get married or get into a relationship, do not deal with somebody that has nothing to lose. He went and got married to a woman that all she knew all her lives are thugs, drug dealers from Baltimore. I used to live in Maryland. Baltimore is the shittiest of East Coast. It's the shittiest of New England. From DC all the way to Maine.
God damn.
And all the way to New York. When you say you're from Baltimore, right, you think Philly is bad. In fact, let me put it this way, Philly is just a step below Baltimore.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it is. So
Oh,
I gotta tell you,
God, they 4 states, man. God damn.
I'm telling you for real though, the entire East Coast is the shittiest of the shittiest. So for him to go down low,
Now he said the entire East Coast.
the entire East Coast, man, the entire East Coast. Because I used to live in Silver Spring. I used to live in Silver Spring, Maryland. You see what I'm saying? So I know what we take Baltimore to be. I know what we like the way we grade Baltimore. Baltimore is somewhere that I only went one time. That was it for me. Only one time. That
you know
was
what's
it.
funny? Ike, it's hard to argue with him because his accent makes him sound so distinguished. It just makes him sound like everything he's saying is accurate and all. And I'm not arguing with you, Ike. Just so funny because you say it very definitively and passionately, and your accent just tops it off with
The whole East
distinction. Like,
Coast. Right, the whole East Coast off. Um,
Yeah,
so okay, so you were saying, someone who doesn't have anything to lose.
she had nothing to lose. This is a girl that came out of. I'm not shooting with from. I'm not from a rich family. I'm not from a poor family either. But I got to tell you, she came out from okay family, but she went to the hood to mess. You see what I'm saying? Oh, you guys keep talking. Let me pick up this call real quick.
Okay.
Well,
All right.
let me say this. Uh, Africa, Nigeria is like the shittiest of shits in West Africa.
Oh, stop it.
Here we go. God damn.
Oh man, that's how it sounds to a Baltimore person right now, Ikene. It's just the shittiest of shit. So, I mean, everywhere else around West Africa, they have culture. They don't have no scammers. But Nigeria, just the shittiest of shits.
Yeah, I don't think he's with us. He's frozen right now, so he can't.
Oh, okay, man. Nah, but to speak about the point of Jada and Will, it's pretty interesting because, like I said, I feel like Will perhaps, or like
I think we
your
lost
body
you.
language ain't even saying it, huh?
Yeah, I think your internet's shitty. So goddamn, ain't no shitty going on
That
here.
cricket wireless.
That dial up, you got that goddamn dial up, don't you?
Mm.
Okay.
Remember back in
Okay.
the days we used to have.
Visit.
You still got a.
Look, Sean, stop,
I,
please, please.
I'm visiting Baltimore.
Um,
Oh
You
my
riding through
goodness.
Baltimore.
all right.
Oh.
One, I do want to ask you guys a question though, a couple of questions, then we're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna start with Arpain on this one. How do you how did you personally navigate worse in your relationship? Because like I forget who was saying, maybe Mr. He said it. When you're in a relationship, you go through ups and downs, it's peaks and valleys, the mountaintop and then you're in the valley. So, for those who are watching, um, we're going into the fall season, which is a lot of people get that seasonal depression. A lot of people go to bed early or they just, as soon as the sun goes down, which goes down earlier now, they get this seasonal depression and s- their spouses may not even know how to deal with them or they may be going through something within their relationship and then on top of that they have seasonal depression, whatever the case may be. How would you advise someone, on how to navigate their worst and for better or worse?
Now, it's funny that you asked me this. And I was ready to talk about it last week when you
I know,
left
I'm
us all
sorry.
high and dry.
I'm sorry.
But no, I was thinking about this for a while because I don't know how much I wanted to disclose. But I did ask my wife. I
Mhm.
did ask my wife this question. I sat down and said, listen, you know what? I mean, we got this podcast coming up and they want to know what's for better or for worse in our marriage.
Do we go around?
Yeah, you got to go on mute, Ekene.
Yeah, y'all tripping tonight.
Okay.
Like, what
Yeah,
are
Ikane,
so
mute
you
up.
anyway, so
Ikane.
so I asked my wife that, right? And she looked at me and now I'm thinking she's gonna go get the little black book and rattle off a whole bunch of shit, man. I'm gonna say, well, I really was that bad over these years. She actually couldn't think of what she would categorize as for worse.
Oh, wow.
And
That's a
I
good
kept
thing.
pressing. I said, come on now. You gotta say, it's gotta be something that you think I should have been, better for or whatever. I mean, because she's not afraid to tell me the truth or
Mhm.
anything because I got one, right? And I said, well, because I have something I thought was for worse. And I was trying to give her an opportunity to see if we would match up, right? And it's funny, the conversation ended. I never told her what I thought was the worst. And she didn't
Mm.
ask me either. And I'm glad she didn't because I promised myself I wouldn't bring it back up. So, but of course, with me and most men, she got in her mind to do something financial without really consulting me. I used to travel a lot,
Mhm.
so I'm usually on books and all that kind of stuff. So she was doing something, shit went south. And it cost me a couple of years, right?
Mm.
I was livid. I mean, absolutely livid, right? But here's a couple of things I think that I took away from that. One, it never rose to the level of me saying, I want out.
Mhm.
Never. That never came up. Never. Because all I thought was, first of all, would it make no difference because I still would have to fix it. And uh, it never got there. And it didn't take me 2 years. I just had to put some shit straight. I never changed the way we do banking. I never changed the way we handle the money. I never changed the way. What I did do was I got a spreadsheet and I put every freaking thing that we do on the spreadsheet. Everything we have, everything we had to put money out, what kind of points we have here, what we have everywhere, what insurance, all that stuff. We go over that. And I started to say, listen, you're going to go over the finances with me every quarter.
Mm.
Here's our investments, is what's yours, is what's it. And then I did a PowerPoint slide for how our money comes into our household, how it gets processed, and what pays for what's automatic, what's not. And we
Mm.
go over that. And this was, and I didn't do
Are
this
you a
at the
financial
time.
advisor?
Huh?
Are you a financial
No,
advisor?
no,
Oh.
I'm just an
I'm
engineer.
just saying,
So
you might have some people in the chat that might need your services.
I mean, but this thing was like 15 years ago.
Mhm.
It was a while ago. And here's the other thing I made sure I never bring it up.
Mm.
I never bring it up. I never say, remember when you almost effed us up, goddamn. Never, never, ever, ever, ever. That's why when we had this conversation, when I asked her what she thought, I never even volunteered what mine was. She didn't
Mhm.
ask, and I didn't tell her because
Mhm.
I didn't want to bring her back there.
Right.
And so, I mean, these are some of the keys that I think, keep us close. I
Mm.
mean, so we don't dwell on stuff that that we fix or satisfy. And that was the worst. I'm telling you, I mean, that was just the worst. And it wasn't something we couldn't recover from, and for the best of times, I won't go into the detail to it, but it's what she did for us to have our two children. I could
Mhm.
never repay. I could
Mm.
never, ever, 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 ever. I could never repay it. So let me just leave
Mm.
that there. So
Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, I'll go up to Mr. He said, how do you navigate worse?
Uh, by being conscious, willing to accept the curation, the constructive criticism. Worse for us, I believe, if I had to say from my standpoint, was financial. A young couple. I was trying to find my way. I had a flooring company, and it didn't work. 2008, the crash. It crashed, and
Mhm.
I had to find my way back. My brother opened up a liquor store around 2011. So, I packed up everything. I went to help him with the store. It it didn't work.
Mm.
So, I'm fighting these internal battles as a man that, I'm jack of all trades, master of none. I'm trying these things, they're not working, and when am I gonna get it right? And I had that married to my method. She would rub me on my back and say, it's gonna be okay. You're gonna get it. I see what you're doing. Like you moving. You're not just sitting on the couch. So when you fail, that means you trying.
Mm.
So you keep trying, and we're gonna get it. And her personal individual battles as well. Her worst was her personal identity. Giving up everything for her family, curating and nurturing her family. She had aspirations, she had dreams, she had hopes, she had things she wanted to do, but she had to put all of that on the back burner for her family, and she was willing and wanting to do that and understanding that that's what came with having a family, with being a wife. So she had to find her identity. She had to find what made her happy, because it couldn't be me. Can't be me. If your happiness is in my hand and I close my hand, bingo. So
Mhm.
these are the better or worse, and this is every day. We have to consciously approach this family, approach this marriage, approach this union, approach these weeks, months, years to make it this far. And I think that that's, the thing that we understand, that it's a certain consciousness that better or worse is going to come. And that's what she taught me, that yeah, you're going to tackle a problem, but another one's coming, fool. So chill,
That's so true.
chill. You got it. Just, take it as it comes. So, I think that's the beauty of family. That's the beauty of a significant other, that they can chime in and let you know that you're doing the right thing, that you are making the right moves. Just continue to do what you're doing. And I think that's the difference in what the men are talking about, what they want. They just want somebody to see that it's possible to be able to sit through the bad times, because it ain't always going to be bad. We not these bad guys that they talk about in these boxes. So just give a fella a chance. I think fellas in these spaces that I sit in are headed in the right direction, have an amazing mindset, and I appreciate all of you guys. So keep doing what y'all doing.
Alrighty. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Mr. He said. We're gonna go over to the actual King Smith. Um, we know you were married. You're now in a relationship. Happy anniversary again. Um, how do you navigate through worse? Do you have any methods or strategies that you would change from the past in the future or
Ooh,
now? I
okay,
should
good.
say.
Yeah, so good question. Oh man, how do I navigate the for worse part? Well, what is interesting is that when I think about, the fact that I had a marriage that failed, like it was a failed marriage, which is interesting when you think about Will and Jada. However you want to measure their marriage, they're still in a successful one because they haven't divorced yet. But
Mhm.
I was in a failed marriage, and when I look back at it, that there was a lot of small things that didn't get addressed that led up to it, right? Things that my ex-wife felt like I wasn't addressing from her, and things that I felt like I wasn't getting from my ex-wife. When I look back at it, I can raise my hand and say that um I had times that I did not do what I was required to do that contributed to my marriage ending. Um, Trying to navigate the for worst part can be tricky because at times I had thoughts of, well, even if I do take care of this, are you really going to take care of the things that I've expressed to you? So, the best advice that I can really offer is continue to work on the things that you need to work on internally, address and communicate the things that you need to with your significant other. But man, I don't know if you can continue to beat something that's not working for you. On one hand, it'd be nice that, hey, if I address and said this to you and you actually went and worked on it, and boom, now we're both in a good spot, that could be great. But I think that there can be an out, or should be an out, if one person just gives up and the other person's, trying to fight for it. So I think that you navigate the for worse by continuing to be the best, person that you could be, continue to honor the things that you said that you were going to honor, and cross your fingers that you picked right and that the other person's going to do the same thing.
All right, all right, all right. We'll jump over to Hank, since you were pretty much in that same boat, previously married and now on the road to get married again. Is there something that you would do differently in regards to navigating the worst, for in the phrase for better for worse?
Cheat. I won't do that again.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to make sure we was on the right side of that. Okay.
Oh yeah. No,
All right. So you wouldn't do that. Okay. Okay.
that's the thing that I would never do again. So that was just me doing a selfish period, making a selfish decision. doing the
Mhm.
selfish thing. So that would probably be the thing I would definitely change.
Mhm. Hold on, I gotta stop the press because my uncle done stepped in the chat. My Uncle
What
Cephas
up,
done
Unc?
stepped in the chat. Hello, Uncle. Hopefully I'll see you in a couple weeks for my birthday. Y'all better put it on for me when I get down there. Just
What
saying,
day
just
is your
saying.
birthday exactly?
Hey,
All right.
and that's a solid uncle name too. Cephas, you got an Uncle Cephas? That is
Yes,
the
I do.
quintessential uncle
Yeah,
name right
yeah,
there.
Uncle
sure.
Cephas.
Yeah, that
Ah.
that dude was born in the late 50s, early 60s.
For sure. Shout out
With,
to Uncle
with that
Cephas.
name right there, yeah.
Yeah,
He
we
probably
got
talking
them
shit.
names. We got them names in our family. We got
He
them
Yeah,
probably
that's
talking
names.
that's
shit.
definitely
When exactly
Boondocks
is your
worthy,
birthday?
man. That's definitely Boondocks worthy.
What day is your
My birthday
birthday
is
on?
October 29th. The 29th.
October 29th.
It's on a
Okay.
Saturday? Sunday?
Right. My man
Saturday?
said 1963. I know that's right.
Yeah, shout
63.
out to Unc. My brother was born in
My
'63.
Uncle Cephas,
That's what's
he
up.
gonna have to join us one day on this panel. I think y'all would like my Uncle Cephas.
Cephas, come join us.
He probably don't even know how to join. I'm gonna have to show him when I get to Virginia. Um, so yeah, thank you so much, Hank. So Hank, like, look, I didn't learn from my mistakes. I ain't doing it that way no more. Moving forward, my lady gets all of me, and I'm not gonna be selfish. So I appreciate that. Our pain went right. Told the heartfelt story about your wife. Sean, so you always playing with us up here.
Uh-huh.
So, in regards to for better, for worse, you haven't been married. However, that is something that you still desire, correct?
Yes, that's something I still desire. I've been in very long-term relationships,
Mhm,
you know, decade, 7 years, 5 years, so I've been in significant relationships prior to believing in the institution of marriage.
mhm.
So we did have worse times, we did have better times. How do I deal with worse times? It's tell her what she did wrong. No, I'm just joking. No, seriously. I really just kind of assess the issue.
Mhm,
Usually, the wrong that has happened, in the worst in any of my relationships have been losing trust within each other. And while I learned how to have trust, or we learned how to trust one another after we got out of the relationships, for future relationships, it has been a very significant lesson that I'm bringing into those relationships is understanding how valuable trust is, how valuable, as you will always say, and I use it even to this day in meeting people, honest, open transparency is. Because honesty was really the foundation of what I thought was trust, or what the foundation or the core of trust was. And then I had to really evaluate openness and transparency and add that to the honesty, because in my last relationship, for example, I she was very honest, but the open seeing and transparency is where we had a block or lack of communication, or failure within our relationship, and it led to a lot of other things. So that would have been the worst time, and we could have been through it if, in fact, the other component, which is the last component that I'm gonna add, is we both are willing to work towards the bigger vision and goal of our union.
mhm.
Because somebody said it a couple of weeks ago, who is the prize? And I'm gonna embrace this forever. The union is the prize. I'm not the prize, she's not the prize. Our union and the success of our union is the prize. And so if we both
Oh, I'm sorry, the
can
peacock. I'm sorry, the peacock made a surprise visit.
Yeah. I found a picture of Sean's longest relationship, and I just wanted to show it for the viewers. There it is right there.
The funny thing
Hashtag
is,
inside joke.
Oop,
that is
there it
hilarious.
is.
But
If you've been
that
watching The Real Precious for a minute, you know what we're
you
referring
understand
to.
why my nickname is the Peacock. Because of my last relationship, and through the worst time, we found the Peacock, and it was blasphemy. But anyway, no, but seriously,
A rainbow in the
you
sky.
know, and moving forward, uh, what I look for is I'm taking the time, one, to not allow intimacy to interfere with connecting with the person,
Mm,
because I believe that is what also has been a challenge in us being able to separate or detach. It's because we had an intimate attachment. So
mm,
at this point, I want to really start with the honest, open transparency, and then from there, segue into the other values and characteristics that will surround that can afford or award us with a great relationship. And more importantly, like I said, understanding and have her understand that our value is not me, it's not her, it's the union that we and the camaraderie that we bring to each other. And if we both value that and we both work towards that, I think we might be able to catch up with pain one day.
mm. I don't know. Payne got them years, and he got them years,
Uh,
and
yeah, I was joking. Payne said earlier, before I got on, he said, "Yeah, you know, back when I was dating, I said, man, when you was dating, dates was like $25 tops. That was an expensive date, man. Come on, man. What you talking about when we was talking about the Cheesecake Factory?" Yeah, I was like, come on, Payne. Come on, Payne. You can't be talking about when you was
It's
dating.
all relative. It's all relative, man. It's all relative.
Nah, but
Mm,
seriously,
mm,
I really commend Payne for being able to sustain that, and the other relationships that have sustained long term.
mhm.
And I value that, and I'm learning from hearing them talk as well as understanding some of the experiences that I had to kind of shape in between my dry jokes on how we can actually have a long, sustainable relationship.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Ekin, are you there?
Nope, the Baltimore people still got him.
Yes, I'm right here.
So my
That's
question
funny.
is, how do you navigate through the worst?
Well, I've never been divorced before, and and I don't look forward to it because it's very very painful thing to do. But
He's still
my
visiting
advice,
Baltimore.
but my advice to people based on what I've experienced, my case is different because I'm from Nigeria. In Nigeria, divorce is very difficult. You're talking about community. Over here, people go through divorce without family members knowing at all. Like I have a friend of mine that went through divorce, and she told her dad like a week before she signed the paper. You see how crazy that can be?
Well, I
Um,
I want you to kinda get into what's the
yeah,
difference between a divorce in Nigeria and a divorce in America?
that
Well, are you
exactly.
saying that
That's exactly where I'm heading into. That's exactly where I'm heading into.
okay.
So divorce in Nigeria is pretty difficult because what happened is that it's community. You see, over here, family members, but in Nigeria, the very moment you guys argue, family members step in. And the thing is this, you have the family members are your therapists, they are your counselors. They are everything that you need in order to survive in a marriage. Your mom is going to show up, your dad is going to show up, then the man's dad is going to show up, the mom is going to show up, the siblings are going to show up. They're going to intermediate. They're going to discuss all these things. You're going to have to tell them how it started. You have to explain yourself how it started, both the man and the woman, the husband and the wife. They both have to explain family members and friends. So it's not an easy thing to do in Nigeria. Even here in the US, it's somehow difficult for Nigerians to divorce here, but they have that freedom to divorce here easily. So how will I navigate it? I'm going to have to involve the parents and discuss with my family members. I'm going to discuss with people that will tell me that I'm doing something bad, not people that will affirm what I'm doing. And I'm going to push her to also discuss with people that will tell her that she's doing something bad, not people that will gaslight, not people that will encourage her. You see what I'm saying? Because I remember when I had issue with my wife, We almost went our separate way last year before we finally, threw it away, and now we have a baby. You know what I mean? Well, our baby is like 9 days old. So what we did is that I got our parents involved. So I forced her family to have conversation with her, but doing it the way we're doing in Africa. And to them, it was an eye-opening. And to me, it was a way of saving the marriage. And to her, it was the best thing that ever happened to her because she didn't want to go through it. But I was able to show them that this is how you navigate divorce. Get people involved. Talk. Don't be silent. Don't keep it to yourself. Let people know what you're going through. Let people encourage you. Let people tell you that what you're doing is bad. So that's my take.
Okay, well,
Okay,
thank you,
thank you so
Ikane.
much for explaining that because in the US, not to say that parents aren't involved, but it doesn't seem like they're not there doesn't seem that like they are as involved as those who are in Nigeria may be involved. And that's, pretty much like you said, because of community. You got kids, you got different generations, you got different roles, people are intertwining families, you're working together. So, in today's day in society, community is not as strong as it used to be. Back in the day, you could go to your neighbor and tell them that you saw their kids, acting up or disrespecting somebody, and if you were lucky enough, you had the autonomy to correct them and love. And nowadays it's just not like that anymore. So thank you for explaining that. I didn't realize that there was such a difference. I actually have a friend. She owns a Jamaican food store restaurant. She actually used to be my manager back in the day when I worked at Cracker Barrel. She wants to come on the show, and she's going to talk about the differences between Jamaica, here, dating, some other things that I have lined up for us to talk about. So definitely stay tuned to that. Probably on a Wednesday instead of because we have these on Mondays. So thank you, Ikene. I appreciate that. Um,
Thank you, Ikane, as well, because I always thought the difference was life or death. In an American divorce, you still can live. In a Nigerian divorce, I thought they kill whoever is not cooperative.
are you being serious?
No, I'm joking. Of course not.
Oh,
Nah,
no, come
He's just
on.
trolling my man Ike, man.
nah. No, but Ikade has definitely pulled down some. He has made us understand that culturally, it is a domineering culture in reference to genders. So that's why I make light of it sometimes because definitely I would think that they are severe um, consequences for getting a divorce in Africa as a woman,
Mm.
and he corrected it just now, even though the severity wasn't death. But I did really think
Actually,
that there was.
actually, let me add, if it's okay with Precious, let me add only 30 seconds to this, right? In Africa, right, divorce is very easy though. Like whatever people tell you that divorce is that difficult is not true because my grandmother divorced. You see what I'm saying? I have aunties that divorced, but usually those divorce will happen when it becomes physical abuse. It's only that physical abuse that we don't tolerate. Once it gets into physical abuse, the father will ask the daughter to come home. My sister, somebody was going to marry her, but she was physically abused. That was when I was like, hell no, come home. You see what I'm saying? We do not allow that.
And that's how simple the divorce is, Ike. Is that you just say,
Very
"Yo,
good,
come
Ike.
home," and it's over.
Very good,
They have
Ike. You did
families.
it in less than
Very
30
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
seconds.
yeah. We say come home because there's something that is called diary. So the man paid a diary, which is a physical money. So that diary that the man paid, right? The father of the girl has to return that diary back. If you don't return that diary back, she's still married technically, right? So once he returns the diary, the divorce takes place. So that diary
Oh
is the
wow.
divorce paper.
Wow, that's a
Wow,
very
interesting.
interesting concept, and I wish that we can adopt it here in America. How about y'all? How y'all feel about that?
That's one thing that I'm pushing for. Like I'm trying to preach African culture to the to America, so that they will see how simple and how beautiful it is. And if you adapt it, you have a community. If you don't adapt it, you're not going to have a community, because the U.S. Constitution was never created for community.
Mm. Hmm. That's interesting.
I hear you.
I like learning about other cultures, because
Same
a lot of them are a lot different than ours, and sometimes we take for granted some things too, and some things we do need to expand our, intelligence on. So thank you so much, Ikene. I really appreciate you educating us. We're gonna be wrapping it up for final thoughts this evening. This evening we spoke about for better or worse, and we see how Will and Jada are going through their marriage. Like King mentioned earlier, they haven't divorced, and so they are still married, and so everything that has been going on with them has been going on within their marriage. And they do not look like they're going to be getting any type of divorce on paper. They've been separated for the last 6 or 7 years. And the last I saw on social media, I'm pretty sure it's probably about 5, 10 more posts about Jada, but she did say that they are working on bringing their relationship closer. And so, for their sanity, I hope that they can work something out, because to go through everything that they have gone through with one another, to just throw it all away. We're four families. Unfortunately, families go through things that we don't go through ourselves. We would hate to see other people go through. We would hate to go through ourselves. But one thing I can say is at least they're not adding to the divorce statistics. So, that's a good thing. Um, but another on the flip side of that is we kind of see their marriage be busted open wide for us, and it's not the it's not so much of a good thing. So before you guys give your final thoughts, I just want to let everyone know that this evening's broadcast has been sponsored by jecreativehosting.com. It is where my website, therealprecious.com, is hosted. So definitely go over there, check out my website, and type HCM22 in the code for jecreativehosting.com to get a special discount on your new website. So, guys, I want to get the final thoughts that you guys have this evening. I appreciate you always for coming and sharing your time with us, your insight, your perspective. Ikene came through with the cultural gems. I really do appreciate that. Any chance to learn, we're definitely here for it. So we're gonna go. We'll go around. We'll start with our pain, go over, and then we'll end with King up at the top. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, thanks for letting me up. I
Of course.
appreciate it. I sent you a cash app with my email in there just so you
I
can have it.
I saw it.
And
Thank you.
but this is a good show. I think it was
Thank you.
something I was thinking about when you left from the last one,
Mhm.
and I was glad I talked to my wife about it,
Yeah.
because uh, she told me I was the greatest husband in the history of mankind. Yeah,
Ooh!
she didn't say
Y'all
that, but
had a
if
good
I ain't
night
got
that
no
night.
answer,
That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying, y'all. We had a
you
good
know
My
what I'm
my.
night.
saying? Hey, wait a minute.
Buenas
You
noches.
mean I was near perfect? I said, Jesus Christ, what I'm saying? Anyway,
That's good to hear as a
I think she
husband.
just
Good.
didn't want to let me have it. I said, but I was definitely waiting for the long list. It never came. But then that
Well,
was a good show.
I'm glad that you were able to ask her the question and be pleasantly surprised by her answer.
Exactly.
Ain't want no mess now.
Yeah. Well, it's funny if she would have had something. I said, well, at least give me if there's something out there that's really bothering you, even if though it's 36 years. If I can improve upon it, I will.
Yeah.
But she didn't have anything. No smoke for the husband. Oh, it was just
They
cool.
say after I forget how many years, so correct me, but they say after X amount of years, you're pretty much maintaining your relationship, you know? You've gotten through a lot of things. I mean, at year you said 36, right? 30,
Yeah.
36. You
Yeah.
guys are definitely doing a great job at maintaining the relationship and keeping each other balanced. with one another.
I hope it's a little
Alrighty.
bit more maintaining though. So it is, but I still try to, like I said, I still try to add some nuance, some new stuff. Like she, like I said, around 5 years ago or 3 years ago, she told me a story that she never told me that
Mm,
how it impacted her. I said, well, why you ain't told me this all this time? She said, I said, it was something new. It wasn't nothing bad, but I said, that's something I didn't know about. So that was a long time. It still was over 30 years. So,
right.
sheesh. So I said, women have secrets, and I haven't told her everything about me either, but you know, what?
But don't tell us first. Don't tell us first.
No, don't worry. I ain't going into that. I mean, I don't have no big, deep thought secrets, man. That's why I married her so fast. I wouldn't have to worry about shit like that. Hey,
I
yeah,
hear
you come
that.
here. You're the one. I remember the first person I said to her, and it's been 36 years. So
I
let
know
me
that's
land it
right.
there.
Well, thank you again. I really appreciate you, Arpane. Thank you so much. Alrighty, Sean, over to you. Final thoughts for this evening for the broadcast.
Okay, yeah. Final thoughts for this evening. Man, ride or die, not ride or sometimes ride, depending on how you feel.
Mm,
And I'm really on this facts over feelings stuff. And I was speaking today with having a conversation today, and they didn't understand. I got on their nerves, is what they told me, because I was like, "Yo, you're going on feelings. You saying you ride or die, but when it comes to that dying part, you're like, let me out the car. I don't think I want to do that." And that's fair if, in fact, you didn't say ride or die.
mm,
And so I'm like, if you're gonna say ride or die, live up to it, mean it, and that's in a literal sense, or not so literal, depending on how y'all agree to it. But if in fact one of y'all are very literal, like ride or die, and the other one isn't, it might cause complications in a relationship. The one thing about Jada and Will, seemingly, is that they're trying to stick to that ride or die scenario. Toxic
haven't
as it
heard
may
choice.
be, yeah,
Mm,
toxic as it may be, they're trying to live up to their word. And I don't recommend it for anybody, but I do recommend trying to live up to your word in any relationship. And if you gave your word to honor it, then my final thoughts are honor it, and that's
Thank
that.
you. Honor it. Thank you so much. Ikane, final thoughts for this evening, sir? Ikane. Ooh, okay. Well, it was good while it lasted. It was good while it lasted. We'll go up to Mr. He said, hopefully Ikane comes back. He probably just hit the wrong button, honestly. We'll go up to Mr. He said. Final thoughts, sir? And thank you so much for being here.
Of course, my pleasure. Thank you for having me. Of course, salute to my fellas, Mr. Payne, Sean, King, Hink. Salute to all of y'all, man. I'm in line with you, Precious. Family is important. And to piggyback off of Inkane, man, like he said, family is involved with the divorce. Family gives the ultimate say so. Family needs to hear what's going on, and that's the reason why we look the way we look here, because our families are terrible. That's why we got to sit in a room full of strangers and say, hi, my name is Sean and I'm addicted to heroin,
Mm,
because our family, the people who's supposed to be non-judgmental, the people who's supposed to listen to our problems, they don't do it. So we got to go to a room full of strangers, and until we understand that, and that's the power that you have, you can create your own family. I know the families we came from. I know, not all of us, not all, but I know the families that we came from. I know the family I came from. I had the power to create a different narrative with my own family, and you have the same power too. So, that's what I think is the most operative and the most opportunistic thing to look to, that you have the power to change. You have the power to create this functional, healthy family that talks and has family meetings and balances the budget and has family rules, and you can create that. So, you know, don't think otherwise, cuz it's possible. Thank you for having me. This was dope. Great conversation with the fellas, and I'll always be here when I can. Thank you for having me, Presh.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Shout out to Mrs. She Said. I see you in the chat, love. Always great to have you and your husband working as a team, getting us right out here in these streets. Okay. All right, Ikene, you dropped off. I figured that you hit the wrong button, but we're going on with final thoughts, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So for my final thought, what I gotta say is this, right? Um, Marriage is a very strong and unique institution. One thing I always say to women is this: marry a man that loves you. And I said to a man, marry a woman that respects you. Don't go seek love from a woman because guess what? She's good in the morning, feel nasty at night. So her mood will swing. She's unstable. It's just her nature. There is nothing wrong about it. It's just the way God made her. You can't change it. She can't change it. So men marry women they love, and women marry men they respect. If a woman respects you, she can always remember that respect that she has for you. And that respect is what she's going to give to you because she respects you because you are a go getter. She respects you because you are masculine. She respects you because you have personality. She respects you because your integrity has proven to her that you're a man. That's why she respects you. She will love you because of how you swing it, how you do whatever, but the day you can, she's gone. So only go for a man you respect. And one thing that I got to say is this: don't go into something that will kill you.
Mm.
If the marriage is going to kill you, you got to let it go. Divorce, I always say to people, is not a bad thing. What makes divorce a bad thing is because people go for divorce instead of seeking for a solution. Divorce is not bad. God created marriage and also created divorce. The same way God created life and created death. But the thing is this: we can hasten our death by being careless, or we can follow the principle of life to live for 100, for 110, 220, right? Because we ate good, we exercise, we stay away from trouble. But you can die at the age of 25 by disrespecting the law, being stupid. It's the same thing with marriage. You can make your marriage good or you can make it bad. But if you marry somebody bad, there is a remedy. And that remedy is divorce.
All right now. Thank you so much, Ikene. I appreciate when you join the panel. So thank you. We're gonna go up to Mr. Hank, and then we're gonna end with the actual King Smith.
Man, this was a great show, Precious. I appreciate you having us like always.
Thank you.
Shout out to you and your and Brother King. Um, I guess my final thoughts is just men, just make sure you do what you need to do in picking out the right woman, and make sure you are paying attention to everything and all things that she does, says, and how she moves, before you make that lifetime commitment to her. So please pay attention, be aware.
Thank you. Thank you. And the actual King Smith. And of course, thank you so much for being here, Hank. I really appreciate you. Mr. King Smith, and we're gonna end with you.
Hey, let's make an assumption here. If Jada and Will, when they got married in Baltimore, had in their vows till death do us part in sickness and in health, technically they're honoring
The vow.
those vows, right?
Mhm.
I don't understand it. I'm not inside their household. I don't know them. By most men accounts, that lady is embarrassing this dude every time she opens her mouth and turns around. However, I watched the entire interview that prompted Jada to come back into the forefront, so to speak, on Jay Shetty's live stream. I'm sorry, his podcast. And the thing that people aren't talking about is that I guess Will penned a letter after he had read Jada's entire book. And what's interesting is how you can get to where you've known somebody for so long, and like how R. Payne said, he just learned something that his wife recently shared with him that he didn't know after he's been married as long as I've been alive.
Yeah, 30 years.
And in that letter, Will had said the same thing. He said he had learned some stuff that he wasn't aware of from Jada, and he ended it with this line about he's going to go drink some wine or a Merlot, and Jada laughed when she heard the letter being read because I guess it was some type of inside joke, and she's like, "See, that's why I can't divorce that man. He knows I don't drink no Merlot or something like that." So they've got some type of dynamic that they're working with. It's working for them. And you know what? Uh it is what it is. That's all I've got.
Well, I appreciate you guys again for coming through with the better or worse tonight on tonight's show. Next week we're gonna do for richer for more. We're gonna do for richer
Yeah.
for poor. We're gonna continue on with this wedding series and have the guys back. I think I'm trying to invite James dating and marriage support.
Yeah,
I
bring
want to get
James
him
up.
on the
That's my
panel.
guy.
Yeah, want to get him on the panel. I know they got their babies, and I know they've been very busy, but I do want to try to get him up on the panel as well, get his input and insight on some of this. You know, this part of the YouTube family, people that we've met along the way. And I do honor honor and respect their opinion. They have been married, I believe, for about 8 or 9 years or something like that now. So want him to get on the panel. And if you are married, you like to join these panels, just let me know. You can probably send me a DM on Real Precious Official. Email me, the real precious at gmail.com. Just get in contact with me somehow. But thank you guys. I did receive 2 cash apps. So I appreciate you guys. Our Payne, thank you. Darnell, thank you. But as I say, every single stream, this is what my Patreon is about, being real with yourself so you can be real with others. Thank you guys so much. You have a great evening. Have a happy Tuesday. Bye bye.